Have you ever seen the most amazing sunrise or sunset? The colors blend together seamlessly. It's hard to tell where the reds start and oranges begin. A gradual blending of colors is called a gradient. You've probably seen gradients on everything, from logos, to packaging, to websites, even to clothing. Gradients are used to make your artwork stand out by adding depth and value to your projects. Take these two bits of text, for example. Which one looks like it has more depth? The text on the right has a gradient applied, which gives it more depth. Now let's take a closer look at a gradient. Gradients are two or more colors blended together. In Illustrator, each color is represented by these little color stops that you can move and edit to change the gradient. The distance it takes to blend from one color to another is shown by this bar, called a gradient annotator. Now let's look at a real-life example by applying a gradient to the fill of this text. The easiest way to do it is to select the text and use a default gradient to start. Click the fill color in the Properties panel and select your default gradient. Every document has a few gradients you can start with and customize. Even though it's easiest to start by applying a default gradient, you might want different colors. So the first thing we'll do is change the gradient's colors. To do that, we need the gradient panel open. In the panel, you can see the colors for the gradient. Double-click a color and you can pick a new one. Now that we have the color we want, you can adjust the overall positioning. Say you want the gradient to follow the angle of the letters, maybe to go with the natural lighting of the environment. You can edit a gradient anytime in Illustrator using the gradient tool and the gradient panel. With the gradient tool selected, you can drag to change the direction and the length of the gradient. The direction is the angle of the gradient, how it's applied, and the length is the distance it takes to transition from one color to another. You can also change the midpoint or the middle of the color transition by dragging this little diamond. So far, we've applied a gradient to a fill, but you can also apply a gradient to the fill or stroke or both. Now suppose you want a gradient that fades to transparent so you can see what's behind it. You can change the opacity of color in the gradient panel. This is a great way to overlay colors on objects. Now that you know how a gradient works, in Illustrator you can apply 3 types of gradients to any vector art: linear, radial, and freeform gradients. So far, we've just been working with gradients that blend in a straight line, called a linear gradient. But you can also apply a radial gradient. In a radial gradient, colors blend from one point to another in a circular pattern. Radial gradients are used to show dimension in spherical objects, for instance. If you want to up your gradient game, there are also freeform gradients. These give you more control while filling a shape with a graduated blend of colors so that the blending appears more smooth and natural. Freeform gradients are excellent for showing contoured shading and color. Okay, let's recap. You can make several types of gradients in Illustrator, each giving you a certain type of color blending. Gradients can be applied and customized in the Properties panel to the fill and stroke of objects, and can be edited using the Gradient tool and Gradient panel. Now it's your turn. Start this tutorial with step-by-step instructions to practice making your very own gradients.